want to say that I'm very proud to be able to call this gentleman a friend of mine. And I mean, we've known each other for, gosh, I don't know, 8 or 9 years or something like that. And he is setting a high watermark for a lot of us that otherwise wouldn't know what we know now. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for our Capitan here at the Freedom Law School, Mr. Peymon Mottahedeh.
Thank you, Dave. Well, folks, I promised you that I'll finish my talk today delivering on the topic of how to live free of IRS, free of IRS harassment, fear, robbery, and intimidation. And so we're going to go back to the Freedom Catalog that we spoke about. So get that out if you don't have it, raise your hand. Max back there will get you some catalogs. Who doesn't have your Freedom Catalog with you? Okay, Max, did you get some? Get him one to hold it up, folks. Just give him time. He'll get it one to every one of you. Okay, so just to recap a little bit, keep your hands up, folks, when you're going to get that material. We talked about yesterday basically the government's based upon a lot of bluff, a lot of fear. You know, how as a filer, you put the rope around your neck, you give it to the IRS, you sign a piece of paper under penalty of perjury. And incidentally, did you guys hear about this Barry Bond guy? Right, the big baseball star, right? The best in the world, they say. And he's been indicted. Why? Because he lied a couple times about not using steroids. Well, it's, you know, what the heck is a big deal about someone want to put something in his body? It's his body. And why is it a big deal if you put it in your body or not? Is it a crime? Well, the government made it a crime, right? And because he lied to the government, he's not been indicted. And he lied to them orally, not in writing. So when you put it in writing, guess what? They don't need no witnesses that you signed that paper. They got your paper. You see what I'm saying about not signing those forms? Now, had Barry been a Freedom Law School student, and Barry, as we know, was a multi-millionaire, and or gone to our website, livefreenow.org, he'd have seen the free advice we give to everybody on page 12 of our catalog. Now, what to do if the IRS or any governmental official comes and unexpectedly calls or knocks on at your door. The basic answer is you don't talk to them. Very simple. Don't give them information. There is a federal law, which I don't remember exactly code number, but believe it or not, the federals passed the law, the federal government, that if you lie to a federal government official, that's a crime. Yeah. You could talk to a federal government official, you're 50 years old, and claim you're 40 years old. Guess what? You just committed a crime, get indicted, go to trial, go to jail. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Who do you think they are? Who do they think they are that, like it's a big deal. You lie to your friend. Not that you should lie, but that they get to make a crime out of it to put you in jail. Even if nobody was hurt. Now, if someone was hurt, I totally understand. Yes, that's a crime because somebody got hurt. But because, so that's why you don't talk to them. You see what simple, basic education is about? And we've given away over at least 20, 30, probably 40,000 copies of these Freedom Catalogs of Freedom Law School. And this is always in them. Don't talk to these guys. Make them put it in writing. How hard would it have been for Barry Bond, a multi-millionaire, who's got all these top-rated lawyers, to tell him, just don't talk to them? So you don't have to be rich or poor to be ignorant or educated. It's not a function of your current financial status. It's a function of your mental emotional, spiritual attitude. That's all. So you're here obviously with the right attitude. So with that, I'm going to give you guys what I think we need to do to have a success. First of all, one of the most common questions people ask of me all the time is, Peymon, how come is it that they haven't been able to close you down? You know, they put all these other guys in jail or close them down, you know, Urban Schiff and Eddie Kane and Lynn Meredith and all these other guys, and how come they have not gotten you? I just like, when are they going to get you? Almost like some of them actually do tell me, when are they going to get you, you know? And I remember years ago when I started the movement, I was small. I was talking to a good friend of mine about it. I said, we got to get big. We got to do big events. We got to reach out tons of people to wake up the American people, get our country back, and expose the lies and the fraud. And my friend said, well, Peymon, if you get big, you got to come under attack. My answer was, well, so what? So what? Of course you're going to come under attack. You expect to go really want to change the establishment, the corruption out there, and they don't attack you? I mean, I'm not in this, folks, just to be a freedom paralegal or help some people save on income taxes. Although, believe me, I save people from tons of trouble and lots of money for people from the clutches of the beast. And I do it better than attorneys out there. They'll tell you that they follow what I tell them, okay? I work with attorneys, and I tell the attorney, you do this, that, the other. We do that. But I do that because I hate their corruption and criminality and lies and fraud, and I want to help people like you. But our goal at Freedom Law School is not to save people money on your taxes. That's not our goal. That's not our aim. Our primary goal is, always has, and will be to return freedom for each and every one of us. But in that process, part of that is helping each of you to be free. See, my thought was, when I heard about income tax fraud back in '92, that was, wow, there's no law requiring me to file income tax. I have rights guaranteed by the Constitution. I can assert and defend. I'm going to start asserting my rights. I'm going to stop paying people money that is not theirs, that's mine to keep. And I'm going to start telling more people about this and help those who want to help themselves, right? Now, we're going to try to help everybody, no doubt, because everybody deserves to be free. But my particular interest is to help those who actually are interested in being free, right? I mean, those are easy. You know, you can't give somebody, you can take a horse to a water, but you can't make it drink, right? So that's why I figured, well, let me help others and educate them. Well, in early 1990s, when I was involved in the freedom movement, I took, as I told you before, every Tom and Dick and Harry and Joanne and Mary's live seminars on tape, books and videos, you name it. I went through all of it. I went through all the pagan mythologies that you guys heard about. And to this day, at this conference, people tell me, Peymon, this guy's things really work. My friend did this thing, removed the lien. Really? Great. Give me the proof. Oh, you did? Okay. Give it to me, document in writing. Just like Dave Wellington showed me in writing, Henry Kirk Barron got the house back from the IRS. After the IRS had seized and sold it, he got it back. Show me the proof. Just like you see in our Freedom Catalog on page 3. Paul Ballmer won from the California Franchise Tax Board $250,000. They have taken zero from him. They never took a penny from Paul Ballmer, yet for violation of his rights, he sued and won from him $250,000, and the government was forced to pay all of his attorney's fees and expenses as well, reimburse him. Over $60,000 for that as well. Here's the proof. And you want to know more proof of people were prepared? Well, our most famous graduate, you all know, is Joseph Bannister. Okay, it was no accident that he won and others lost. He was prepared. He got educated. He got, you know, and so when I introduced him to Dave Wellington, to Sean O'Connor of Freedom Press Society, others that really were wise, he said, great, thank you, I'll talk to them. Robert Bernhoff, Jeff Dickstein, he listened, he learned. And when the time for trouble came, he had prepared and he had some good help. And guess what? I knew from the get-go he was going to win. And I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm just telling you. When I heard, it was about midnight, I got an email that Joe has been indicted. I said, wow, I can't believe how stupid the IRS can get. We got a victory on our hand. Now, part of me said, oh, poor Joe's going to go through a lot of hell, because you never know what's going to happen. With him and his family, it's going to be difficult. But, you know, at the end, the positive part is he's going to win. He's going to be even a bigger hero than he was because, you know, the fact that he actually beat them. So the IRS knows that, folks. They're careful. Generally speaking, they're careful who they come after. Not always. So the more prepared you are, or the government in general, any kind of a case. It's not just the IRS, folks. I can tell you stories and stories. I dealt with a city official wanted me to get a business license for working out of my home, out of my garage. And the guy backed up because he couldn't show me the law that required me to get a business license out of my home. I forced the judge to give me documents that he didn't want to give, and he told me to get out of here, you know, no problem. I went to the High Court of Appeal, and before the Court of Appeal ruled on it, they backed off and gave me the documents that I wanted the judge, which was my own case, paperwork the judge was hiding. You know, you can win against any of these guys. If you know about your rights, you know the proper procedures, and you have good help. Okay, those three things. And I tell you, Dave Wellington and Sean O'Connor were always there for me. And to this day, you know, somebody comes up and say, I tell my paralegal, Dan, call Dave Wellington, get a second opinion from him about it, you know. And Dave gives us, you know, some couple of wisdom inputs. Get very good. We're often running, you know, to do that. So the reason a lot of these guys didn't win because they were not prepared. Bottom line, if you're prepared, then your chance of winning are far larger. Okay, now, I cannot guarantee it, but your chance of success should be at least 90 to 95%, if not better, if you're prepared. Why? Why not 100%? Because the courts are corrupt and they have the power, literal power, illegally, but they have the power to illegally ignore the law and the facts. Okay? And I'll tell you, I've seen it both. I've argued cases, Dave Wellington, others have. You argued this, and you got them dead to nuts, right on the ball. You got a winning argument. The court never even addresses the issue in their opinion. Or you argue them, you got them so good, and the Court of Appeal and just rubber stamps what the lower court did without any discussion at all of why the court was right and you are wrong, even though you got them. Or I've seen you argue the facts are, I claim the sky is blue, therefore I win. Clearly, if the sky is blue, the law's on my side, I win. And a judge rules arbitrarily the sky is yellow, therefore you lose. Because you argued the sky was, blue. I know this sounds incredible. It sounds incredible, unreal. But until you actually read court cases, and you see, you know, you won't know. Or that you argued something to the court, and the court changes your argument from this to something else they want your argument to be, and they rule against that. So what you got to do is you got to realize the deep level of corruption. I had a gentleman who was telling me about that at lunchtime. Man, Peymon, it's a lot to absorb. I didn't have no idea it's this bad. Yes, it is. If you want proof, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. Please ask. Okay, don't have the time to give it to you right now, but I will gladly give it to you. Folks, in America, in the courts, for example, can you give me a feature brochure from outside, please, Dave? The judges deliberately withhold key information from the jurors. They tell the jurors, you cannot see this evidence. Okay? They tell the jurors, they lie to them that they cannot judge the law. They can only judge the facts. Okay? And folks, don't be a blind juror like a typical American citizen that goes to court and just believes in the God judge. Whatever you tell me, I believe in you, God judge. You are just a wonderful guy. You know, I believe anything you say as if God spoke. Think for yourself and check things out. Okay? That's why we've given out this brochure called True and False about jury rights. you should get it to know that you as a juror have the right to know all the facts. You can decide what's relevant or not the judge, and you can judge the law. If the law is unjust or misapplied or non-existent, you can say not guilty, okay? And the judges will not tell you that. In fact, the judges are so afraid because they want to protect the system that say that if you go to jury box and tell the judge you know about this right, they'll kick you out automatically because they don't want to inform jury on there. So become informed, okay? And you don't have to tell the judge that you know about your right and power to judge the law. You don't have to tell them that. And if the judge ever puts you on a phony oath that, well, you took the oath to follow the laws, I give it to you, you could take that phony oath, but that oath is worthless because guess what? The judge has no power to punish you as a juror. This is well established in American and English common law. That is still the law of the land. No juror can be put in jail for his or her verdict. The judge will not tell you that. They say, oh, you're supposed to know that on your own from the culture, from your common sense, that jury can give a general verdict of not guilty. No matter what your reason is, they cannot look behind it and put the guy on trial again. You're supposed to know it. You didn't know about it? Okay, read all about it. And you can also go to jurypower.org and also fija.org, F-I-J-A.org, for more information about jury rights and powers, which I encourage you to get. So what I'm telling you, folks, is become a fully informed citizen, and the things I'm telling you, please follow up and read about it more for yourself. Now, so the people are not prepared, and the biggest reason why I see people are not prepared to win, generally I've seen is the two main reasons were ego or greed. Those are the two main reasons, folks, that people end up losing, whether you're a typical citizen participant in here of movement or a patriot leader. I've seen consistently the same problem. Ego is, I'm right, I know my stuff, I don't need to learn from anybody else. They need to come learn from me. And because of that, you don't learn from other people that could help you become better. And therefore, you don't become better, and you lose. Okay. The other part of it is, I don't want to spend more time. I don't want to spend money learning this stuff. You know, I want freedom to be free. You go on, people go on these Yahoo discussion groups and chat all the time. What I do about this letter, you know, of the IRS and this, that. They hope to get some free gold nugget that will have the IRS never write to them again, you know. I wish there was such a thing, okay? And I wish if it was, there would be no need for Freedom Law School to teach you about your rights because you can just make him go away with a flick of a letter. But it's not like that. When I got involved in the movement, folks, I spent thousands of dollars and I was not making any money. I was poor, okay? But I put my money where my mouth was because the founding fathers paid a hell of a price for freedom. What do we have to pay? Folks, in third world countries, the governments are so corrupt, people have to literally take up guns and kill the government officials. They do. Because that's the only choice they got. In America, fortunately, we're not there. We don't have to do that. We have other options. We can use our rights, like First Amendment rights of free speech, assembly, association, get together, wake up more people, and get our government back. Okay? So let's do what we can. Let's pay a price for it. Okay? All you got to do in America, the good thing is that you can just make a commitment, put your money where your mouth is, and go forward. And then you can get all the preparation, you can get all the help, you get all the professional that you want, then you're set. But I'm so amazed that people don't want to do that. They want it for free. So for those of you who believe in freedom in a strong way and like to see these kind of conferences, events happen, and believing that you want to be a part of it and you want to make it happen, here's what I got to say. Learn from the founding fathers. And to do that, watch the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson. And I'm going to tell you the relevant part. What Mel Gibson saw was this. He's looking at the battlefield, and he sees that the redcoat British Army, redcoats are coming with the Patriot militia, head-to-head face, and the British win every time. Next scene, he's speaking to the militia commander, and militia commander says it's bad, you know, think we got a lot of wounded. And Mel Gibson says, let me show you a different way. Give me a dozen men. Militia general says, take anybody you want. Okay, he takes them. What does he do? Does he do this typical, just go head to head, face on with them? No. He teaches them guerrilla warfare. You ambush them in the middle of a bush. This way, that way, different way, but they don't expect it. What happens when they catch some of his friends as hostages? You think, gosh, how is going to get out of this one? Well, he was so clever, he found a way to trick the General Cornwallis and get all of his friends back, and the dog of the king he was supposed to return, he did return, and Whistle the dog came back to him too. Stuff like that, folks, you just cannot put in a book or seminar class. You understand that? That takes creative intelligence. And you don't put it out there for the enemy to know, because if they know, they'll get back at you. Just like in a movie. They figured out he's doing an ambush on us. What they did, they set up a few of the guys to get ambushed. They ambushed them, and they're ready for those guys to ambush them back. Right? So you're always going to be 2-3 steps ahead of them, thinking, planning ahead type of stuff. Now, I'm willing to bet with you that nobody ever met the movement has ever came to you with that kind of approach and mentality, have they? Everybody talks about you do this or that paperwork, yeah, you go head to head and argue about the legality of the income tax, you tell the IRS or tell the courts, and boom. They just ignore everything I do say. The IRS ignores it. The court ignores it. None of it works. Because that's what you're doing. Understand that? Folks, guerrilla warfare has always won in the history of humankind. But guerrilla warfare is for the smarter, for the wiser. Okay? It's kind of like comparing a regular army soldier with the Marines. You want to get something done, don't send the army, send the Marines. You really want to get it done, send the Rangers or the SEALs, right? So what I'm looking for is, for you to join this revolution, because we got Rangers and SEALs working with Freedom Law School in cooperation with us, ready to back you up to be free. And in that return, you can help us expand this movement and grow. That's everything. It's a win-win approach. Because, folks, remember, in the movie Patriot Again, there was people who paid for the Mel Gibson's characters, the General Washington's army, clothing, boots, bullets, and guns, right? That was not the farmers just bringing their own duck hunting. They needed. They was going to be away from his family for several months on the battlefield. Who was going to give some food for his family while he's gone, right? The other patriots. Everybody helped out, and those of them who were more able financially gave more. There was a fat guy in that movie. You remember the fat guy in the Patriot movie, right? Okay, if you don't remember, go see the movie again. So what Mel Gibson did in his movie told you, this is what we did. We need to apply it here, because the legislature can be just as brutal and dictatorship as a king, right? That's what we have today. So we need to apply the same thing, folks. We need to revolt in a peaceful manner if we can. Instead, we can do it on paper, in our minds and hearts. Okay? So what I did is I figured, but let me be honest with you. If I tell each of you, I said, I want each of you to give Freedom Law School $10,000 a year or $20,000 a year, because we need to do more of these conferences across the country, how many of you would give it? Not that, how many? Let's see. That means that's good. How many would get $10,000? Because we need to have these things once a month across the country with $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year. How many of you would do it? Here we got 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, okay, 5, okay. Well, some of you are thinking about it. That's okay. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. The point, but you see, and some of you will. But I tell you what, I know a lot more hands will go up if I can give you something back in addition of working for freedom. What if you could get them off your back? Would that be worth it? See, we came up with a plan which has this purpose. And I'm going to read the purpose of this plan. The purpose is, you look to page 21, you see it, for example. Go to page 20 of our Freedom Catalog. And the purpose is to restore honest, responsive, and limited governments in the United States of America, which will follow the letter and spirit of the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, as written and designed by America's founding fathers to protect the blessings of liberty for all Americans. That's the purpose. I told you that was my purpose to begin with in the freedom movement. That will always be my purpose. Okay? Now I'm looking for people who believe in this purpose and want to join hand with us. Okay? Now I figure, well, what if I could save you $5,000, $20,000, $100,000 a year, depending on your situation, the money that you don't owe these thieves, that you don't owe the criminals, that they illegally want to take from you. What if we were able to help you by giving you some education, some preparation, okay, and have all these Navy SEALs and Rangers available to back you up in case the bully decides to come after you or you or you. Now we got a war chest. With a war chest, you have a chance of winning, right? That's why, 37,000 of us on November 5th, including me, gave Ron Paul $100 apiece. Some of us gave more to give him a war chest, because we knew that without that, he cannot win for freedom. You got to pay a price for freedom. We all win to pay a price. Okay? And I want you to do that. Right now, we have a rare chance to help Ron Paul, and I invite every one of you to give a maximum of $2,300 per person. I'll give him $2,100. So far, I'm going to give the other $200 too. By the way, when he wins the primary as a Republican, on the general election, you can give to him again. So, but this bit, what we did at Freedom Law School, I figured, you know what? Let's do a win-win thing. What if I can get every one of you in this room to commit as patriots? Every one of you. We got about 200 people in this room, in this conference. Every one of you to commit to back up each other. Put your money where your mouth is. I commit to you for freedom, and you commit to me for freedom, and we commit to all Americans for freedom. Let's do it together. Now we got something we can really go and win with, can't we? And we're going to get the smartest people, most wisest people. Well, that's what these freedom packages at Freedom Law School are. You see them in the Freedom Catalog. We start describing them for you from page 18 to the end. Okay? You can read all about it, though, folks, okay? Now, we designed this program, just so you know, to allow as many people to join them as possible by keeping the price as low as possible. In other words, folks, it takes money to run things. The hotel, the equipment you see here, everything had to be rented or put together. It doesn't happen for free, right? It would be nice. It would be nice, but it's not. Somebody got to pay for things. For the paralegals, attorneys, everybody got to do all the work, answering the phone calls, whatever. Somebody got to, do the work, and they got to make a living, right? So, but what we did is at Freedom Law School, I said, I'm going to try to keep that as low as I can so that I can allow everybody to join. Folks, I got people on Social Security, on small pensions, join our program because they believe in the cause. They want to be part of the freedom movement. They don't want to support the evildoer criminals who are doing what they're doing to us. And so the program, believe me, is as low as it can be to allow everybody to attend. What I'm hoping, though, is that you go home and say, by my gosh, I think Peymon had a good idea. I think maybe if he does, if I'm saving maybe $20,000 a year, heck, I'm only giving Freedom Law School $2,500. What if I give him another $7,500 and make it $10,000? Then you could do these conferences across the country, because let me tell you, folks, the only thing that's stopping me from doing this kind of conferences bigger and all over the country is just money. That's the only thing, and we can do it. We've done these conferences since 1999 in Southern California, every year. We never had more than 400 people attend these conferences, unfortunately, never. If we had more money to advertise, promote it, we could. We took risks. We took challenges. We just on this one we spent a lot more money. We want to take a risk on this happening. Well, we expected 500 to 1,000 people. We got less than 250 people. Okay, so if it's going to happen, it's going to happen by you guys saying more than just tell me, Peymon, it was great. So many people told me it's great. I love what you do. Thank you very much. I love what you're doing. Great. Keep it up. Going good. And I'll do it, folks. My wife and I, in the last 4 nights, have got an average of 4 hours of sleep. That's why you see me such baggy eyes and voice is cracked. And I'm willing to do it. Okay? But I'm telling you, there's only so much you can do. We need your help. And if I had more money to get more help, I wouldn't have to stay up all night. I could get some intelligent people, afford to pay them to come up here, do the work so I can get some sleep during the conference and enjoy it here and listen to the other speakers like I want to, because I can't. Okay, I have to go maybe listen to them later or talk to them later or something, because I can't, that's the problem. But I'm willing to do it if you want to be partners with Freedom Law School to get America back. We know all the best speakers you've seen across the country. They have a good relationship with us. They want to work with us. They want to do this kind of thing. And they said, we'll do it, Peymon. Just make it happen. But, folks, I cannot do it by myself. I am only one guy. The same way this conference happened because each of you donated for the ticket admission, you helped out to make this conference happen. The vendors may help it make it happen. And also we had some individuals who gave extra donations on their own, hundreds or thousands. Yes, they did. And they're going to. Okay? Because they know that the tuition price we have on this conference is artificially low to allow everybody to attend. That's right. So if you want to be part of that, folks, it's here. It's in the program. But I want to tell you this, though. The bottom line, and people ask me how much is it, so I'll tell you how much it is, okay? The program is, just sort of mechanics of it, is $6,000. The most common one is called the Royal Freedom Package. It's on page 19 if you want to look at it. There's the Simple Freedom Package and the Royal Freedom Package. They're all compared in summary form there. And the more popular one, we do everything. Anything comes up, we'll take care of it for you. It's $6,000 to start, $2,500 a year, every year after that. That's it. If you're from California, it's $500 more per year. It's $3,000 a year because California Franchise Tax Board, the state tax agency, is very, very aggressive. So we have to charge those guys extra. So stay away from California. It's a brutal state. But we fight them and winning against them too sometimes, and we're still not done with them. So that's it. What's $2,500 a year for? What's $200 a month? Think about it. For Freedom for All America and for yourself. What's that worth to you? Is that worth peace of mind? Is that worth not seeing this criminality is going on? You heard from William Rodriguez. You heard from Anthony. You heard that, there were explosions underneath the Twin Towers. Beneath. And the government does not want to investigate that. They don't want to check it out. They don't want to talk to William Rodriguez. Or they talk to him behind the scenes and don't even mention his testimony at all in the 911 Truth Commission. So, obviously they're covering up. The only logical conclusion why they're covering up is why? Because they're in on it. Folks, let me tell you, if we had a federal grand jury saw this stuff, they would have indicted Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld in a heartbeat after seeing this information, wouldn't they be? Because the law says that the grand jury has to see probable cause that they did it. The proof, let's go to trial. But there's clearly enough probable cause just to cover up itself. We don't know all the facts. But the fact that they refuse to investigate and or they refuse to look at some critical evidence, like you've seen this weekend, like you saw on Loose Change, and William Rodriguez and Anthony tells you that these guys are covering up something, that crime, because what they're telling you is not, it's a lie. Now, the next level is there enough to convict anybody beyond the reasonable doubt? Well, Let's see. Maybe, maybe not, because there's a lot of unknowns. But tell you what, the jury is going to be the American people. And we need to bring this to attention of more people to indict these guys and then put them to trial. But that's going to happen, folks, if we commit to stopping it and putting our money where our mouth is. I dedicated my life to this. When I came across this stuff back in 1992, and I was 29 years old, I was doing all kind of different jobs, pizza delivery driver, had my own business before and different stuff. I said, whoa, I can sink my teeth into this one. I love freedom. I love to promote freedom. And gee, if I can do this, then doing something else, I was selling medical x-ray film to doctors. It was, well, okay, it's a living, nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't exciting, folks. I didn't enjoy it. I enjoy what I do here. Believe me, I enjoy being around people like you every day. By gosh, I could do these conferences every weekend. I do it, because I just love doing it. Okay, I believe in, because I love freedom. And I want to tell you this, folks. Bottom line is you got to decide what's going to motivate you in life. That's going to help you in your decision. There's two forces in life and two major feelings. One is good, one is evil. And you know what? When I ask people what's opposite of love, you know what a lot of people tell me? The opposite of love is anger. That's not true. Opposite of love is fear. Goodness operates on love. Evil operates on fear. Okay? What I'm trying to bring for you, folks, is love of freedom. Let your love of freedom be your guide. Okay? And if you do that, you'll be free. You'll be spiritually free, physically free, financially free, and your whole life will be free. Your outlook is free. I feel a lot more freer than I did back then. I really do. Don't have to be afraid of them. I mean, not to mention, it's not like I'm fearless. I'm like this Teflon guy. I'm not saying that. I'm a human being. I know I'm a target. I know they're looking at me in every way they can to try to get me. But I know there's a lot more I can do, and I'm going with my love for it. If they want to take my speeches, take it to jury, that Peymon is a criminal, a conspirator, and all that stuff, let them take it to jury, just like they did with Joe Bannister. They put his speech in front of a group of employees about income tax as evidence of his crime. And that same speech is what jury saw twice, and they said, based upon that, he's done nothing wrong. Because Joe Bannister came from the heart, love of freedom. That's why he does that. You see? But if you come from a fear of, I'm going to lose what I got, they're going to take it from me, and especially the filers. I'm not comfortable to make the switch, maybe become a non-filer. It's just, I heard you make sense. Filers they go to jail a lot longer, more often. You give them everything they need to come after you. I heard all that, but just the fever just stops me from taking that step. I was talking to a lady about that yesterday. I told her, you know what? You just met me today. I told her, take your time a little bit. Check it out. Investigate it. You just met me today. Well, verify everything I'm telling you for yourself. But I think when you do take the time to read and verify and come from your heart, you'll make the right decision for yourself, and you won't live in fear anymore. You don't have to think about, well, can I just reduce my income taxes just a little bit? And I said, no. You either stand against corruption and lies or be a slave. Pay the price of slavery or freedom. But freedom, folks, and love is where it's at for me. And I hope that's what you want to bring to your personal life, because love brings you peace, and you bring that to your children, and you pass it on to others. That's always been the motivating guide for me, because I believe this, even though, folks, people like Dave Wellington and I, we talk about these technical minutiae, the Ranger SEAL tactics of how to beat the IRS or traffic tickets or the corrupt judges and whatever. We talk about this stuff and argue the minutiae of the law. But the source of that is in our hearts, where we love freedom and hate the evildoers, and we want to stop them. Okay? And I know you got that. And I want to invite you to let that be your guide. Because with that, you'll give whatever it takes. You give your time, you give your money, you give your dedication, and you're going to talk to other people about it. You know, people tell me, Peymon, people are not interested in this stuff. I talk to people that are not interested. So, I was interested. You were interested. Somebody told you about all this. Everybody in this room, someone told you about this stuff one day, and you got interested in this stuff, right? So why are you giving up on yourself? Why are you giving up on people like you? Would you want the person that talked to you about this stuff to not have talked to you about all this stuff? Just because before he talked to you about all this freedom information, maybe he got 9 no's, 9 I'm not interested, 9 no I'm afraid, no 9 I'm too busy. Would you want that person to have done that to you? Of course not. So don't do that to other people out there like you by denying them the opportunity. What you do is you keep talking to people about this stuff. Give them the chance. That's why we give our Freedom Catalog with a picture and story of Joe Barnes on the back for free. These cost Freedom Law School 50 cents a pop. We give it away. Get it out to somebody. Put it in the office, right? That's why, we give Joe Barnes a speech on CD. I think we're giving away, I lost count, Max. I think like 23,000 to date. We just get them down 1,000 at a time and give it away. We tell you don't copy it because we can do it cheaper for you with a good-looking cover and ready to go rather than some, plain wrap one that people say, what's that? Okay, this way it looks more patriotic and appealing when you talk to a stranger. Okay, we give it to you. Don't spend your money at home doing burning CDs. I'll give it to you. Okay, and if you like what we do, great, donate to us, and we'll put more of it out. On the spirit of love, people do that. So, and all the stuff I mentioned to you, the Federal Reserve by Ed Griffin, the law, Ted Gunner's speech we gave away for free, all this stuff. It all happens because we put out there the love, and it comes back. And I invite you to do the same thing with your friends, family, co-workers. Give them something, let them check it out. They're not interested in income tax issue? Fine. Give them Federal Reserve speech. Do you like the banks? Okay. Or how about, you want to know what real law is all about? You got a lawyer friend? Give them the law by Frederick Bastiat. That's what I do. You got a police officer? Give them Ted Gunner's speech on the FBI. Because, the locals don't like the feds, Get to your friends and neighbors somehow or another. Get into our Freedom Library or Freedom Law School on our website. We got all, you think this conference was great? We done conferences like this every year, and all the speeches are available online for free. Now, we used to sell those CDs and DVDs, and I just told my webmaster, I said, you know what, Wayne? I know we could sell those things, maybe make a few bucks on it, but just put it out there. Just put it out there. Give it away. And I want you to go to our website and to tell your friends about it. Or go to YouTube. Okay? Ron Paul's on there. I'm on there. Other people, this stuff on there. And email your friends. Gather your friends' email list. And not every day, but maybe once or a week or a month, send them something. Let them check it out, okay? And you do that, folks, and don't give up. And with the new technology, with internet and email, all this stuff, folks, we're going to take America back. Remember, John F. Kennedy was the first television president, they said, right? And I believe Ron Paul could and hopefully will be our first internet president. Yeah? The $4.3 million he raised in one day was done almost exclusively on internet. And December 16th, write that down, the Boston Tea Day. Write that date down, all of you. Come on, don't look at me, look at your paper. December 16th, okay, is the Boston Tea Party anniversary. Tell your friends now, not December 15th when they spend the Christmas money already, okay? Tell them now, before they spend the Christmas money. On that day, whatever you do, put $100 aside to give to Ron Paul, okay? Folks, this is how we did it. And we're going to take it out to 10 million to 20 million. okay? And folks, I couldn't give $2,000 to Ron Paul if you guys hadn't supported Freedom Law School and me. The money I gave was the money you guys gave us, quite frankly, What I am is your agent, and that's what I want to be. I just want to be your agent. You tell me, Peymon, if I'm not doing a good job, what I ought to need to do, I'll do it. If I can improve these commerces, I'll do it. You want me to come and do one in Florida, do one in New Hampshire, do one in Chicago, I'll do it. But I need your support, and I need seriously your spiritual and financial support. If you have a heart for love of this stuff, you'll give us the donations to do that. We don't have enough right now to pay the hotel, for example, all the expenses that we had. Unfortunately, we had almost 100 hotel room nights because we expected double the number of people here, and that didn't happen. Now, some people are stepping forward and making extra donations to us, and we still don't have it covered yet. So, but it'll come. It will come because enough of you in this audience love the work that we do and want to support us, that will make it happen. But I just want to tell you in summary, folks, remember this. Even though we deal with all these technicalities and minutiae and eyewitnesses of these people, and that expert like Federal Reserve talks about that, bottom line, this whole thing is a spiritual issue. As Ed Griffin said, to the New World Order crowd, the international bankers, the only sin for them is losing. They do whatever it takes, murder anybody, steal from anybody, torture anybody, men, women, children, they don't care, to get their satanic goal of one world government at all cost. That's their motto. That's their side. They're there. And I know you are on this side. But folks, if we don't let our love drive us to go forward and win, we're not going to make it happen. And people tell me, Peymon, this stuff's sometimes so depressing, but how come you're always smiling? Because I have hope. I have hope that we're going to do it. I know we can do it because you know what? Freedom Law School did not exist back in 1992, back in 1995. It was just me, one guy, just like you, attending these seminars, want to learn more. And I decided I'm going to do something bigger, make a difference, okay? And what are we now? We have people like Republic Magazine, We the People Radio Network, others are stepping forward to make this stuff happening, folks, and I want you to be that kind of a person. You do your thing out there. If we can help you with all of our experience and that we have and knowledge, we'll be happy to do it for you. But if you decide that you're going to be on the side of the good and love against the side of evil, you're going to be doing the right things, honest things that you want to do, just do it. Don't let the fear of the evil stop you. But don't be stupid either, because it takes wisdom too, right? I'm not telling you to be stupid about it. But that's why we give you at Freedom Law School the education. That's why we're still a school. People sometimes call them, they say, Peymon, I'm one of your clients that gave you $6,000. I said, no, you're not my client. I don't have a client. I got students. Did you read the goal? What was the goal was? We told you to restore freedom. That's what you signed up with. Okay? If you don't want it, stop right now. I'm here to restore freedom. I help you to the hilt. And I go on the Sundays, if it takes to get your stuff fixed, I'll do it, whatever it takes. But I'm here for freedom for all of us. That's the bottom line. So I hope you find this cause that you've seen a part of it this weekend. Just a part. There's a lot more. Worthy of your commitment, hopefully a lifetime commitment, to love of freedom, to put whatever you have on the line, like the Founding Fathers did. Don't have to die for it. Don't have to get killed for it, thank goodness. Okay? Risk a little bit, because life has got risks, right? And join hands with us, folks, because we can and we must and we will get America and our freedoms back. Thank you for listening. Well, your master of ceremonies is not here, so I guess I have to step in and introduce you your next speaker for today. Actually, no, we got a break coming up, so let's take a break, folks. Let's take a break till 335, folks. 335, let's back. We got Ted Gunnarsson and Dave Bonkleis. Folks, remember the DVDs at the conference if you want. CDs are available out there. At the front table, you can order them all out there.